Hi, I'm John Green. This is Crash Course U.S. History. Let's get started. So today we're going to be talking about one of the most screwed over groups in history, immigrants. No wait, that was slaves. Stan, am I a douche? Yeah, I'm a douche. Well, if you haven't noticed, look around you. Now look at Mrs. Arnold. Look at Caleb. Now look back at me. This nation was built on immigrants. And yes, that means you too, colonists. Which is why this nation is the greatest. Stan, can I get a libertage? So first it all started with early European explorers who sought new land in search for trade and wealth. So one of these insane individuals was Marco Polo, who was considered the indirect founder of the New World. Marco Polo. So anyways, not to get off topic, but after Marco Polo, there were many explorers who began looking for new land and routes. So among these explorers was Christopher Columbus, who apparently was looking for a route to Asia, but ran across North America. So fast forwarding a few decades, colonization became a great idea in Great Britain. Due to the hope of acquiring wealth, joint-stock companies gave opportunities to indentured servants.
To these indentured servants was an important factor to convince them to go to this new land. So Virginia Company's charter guaranteed these rights. Young John Green, take it away.
At the same time, the headright system encouraged people to support the passage of colonists in order to receive land. Many joint-stock companies, such as the Virginia Company, encouraged people to support colonists, and they promised colonists the right of English notes.
So going to America seemed to be a way of religious opportunities for Puritan separatists to start their own colonies in the New World. On the ship, they signed the Mayflower Compact, and this was significant because it was the first written form of government. So unlike the separatists, Puritans wanted to change the Church of England. They're the ones who started the Massachusetts Bay Colony. Jumping forward a few years, President Adams passed the Alien Sedition Act, which allowed him to imprison immigrants and restrict free speech.
Alright, let's go to the thought bubble. As I mentioned before, Irish immigrants came over to America because of the potato famine. They came looking for opportunities as whole families and found them in cities working as laborers. Irish women also began to work in factories, which was something they were not accustomed to in Ireland. Although German people did come over for no apparent reason, they also came for opportunities like the Irish did. Germans, however, mostly remained as farmers.
Fast forwarding a few decades, again, the population of the United States got too high to the point where changes needed to be made. The Emergency Quota Act set a limit to how many people could immigrate to the United States. Only 3% of the current immigrant population could actually immigrate into the United States. So Americans had this weird fear that the immigrant culture would destroy their own culture. Back to the future, immigrants were repeatedly being accused of being communists during the Red Scare due to the fact that they were from exotic countries. Oh, it's time for the mystery document? The rules here are simple. If I get it wrong, who needs to in class?
The Jews and Italians do the finishing for the great clothing manufacturers, formerly done by Americans, Irish, and Germans, who refuse to submit to the extremely low prices to which the sweating system has reduced their successors. As the design of the sweating system is the elimination of rent from the manufacture of clothing, the outside work is begun after the clothing leaves the cutter. An unscrupulous contractor regards no basement as too dark, no stable loft too foul, no tenement room too small for his workroom, as these conditions imply low rental. Hence these shops abound in the worst of the foreign districts where the sweater easily finds his cheap basement and his home finishers.
Alright, Stan. I'm just gonna blindly guess on this one. Jane Addams? Yes!
Through this passage from 20 Years at Hull House by Jane Addams, we can see that the work the new immigrants had to do was very tough. They had come from countries that were not democratic and were often poor and illiterate. But they saw America as the land of opportunity due to the spread of the America fever, in which America was thought of as the land of opportunity.
Lyndon B. Johnson passed the Immigration Act of 1965 to atone for past discrimination. Eventually, Americans became more tolerant of immigrants. Thanks for watching. See you next week.